Thank you, Patrick. Good morning. We've tried to start this stewardship campaign before, and Helene, got to us right when we were ready to kick off. So I'm glad to be back and moving this forward. The Pathways to Generosity has been a really exciting concept for the committee to learn about and unpack. And one of the more discrete pieces of that we'll talk to you about again and again over the next few weeks is something called the giving path. And some of you may be familiar with this. It was new to me, and I loved it. I came home and I was telling Annie about it. This is a super cool idea. And the idea is that as we grow in our generosity, there's a point in our lives when we're always going to be the first-time giver, right? We'll be the people that have never made a pledge before. We make our first pledge to the church. And so some people, during this campaign will make that step. And then there are people that, have a dollar amount budgeted that they give, every year. And some people will make that step from, just making their first pledge or first gift to making a recurring gift. Then the next path is being an intentional giver, where you give 1% of your monthly income as part of your pledge. And some of us will make that step. And so then there's the growing, the tither, which gives 10%, and the extravagant giver that gives more than 10% of their income. And so as you're thinking about where God wants you to be in your generosity, keep thinking about those different steps on this pathway to giving. And we'll have some handouts that we'll give you in your bulletin. You'll also see some stuff about this in the emails. So make sure, if you're not a regular email opener, over the next few weeks, open your emails from the church. And pay attention to the devotionals. I've really enjoyed those. I was thinking about the first devotional from this week that we opened last weekend, and there's this concept we've talked about. We've addressed the why as a committee, like why do we give to the church, right? Why is it important? And one thing that we discussed in our last committee meeting I thought was really cool was we shouldn't give to the church because the church has needs, but we give to the church because the church meets needs. And that the first devotional we got, there were 3 people talking about why they gave to the church, or why they were motivated to give to the church. And there was a teacher that said, the reason they were giving was because they were responding to the blessings they had received. And I was thinking about what blessings Andy and I, are receiving right now. And I was really thinking about our kids and how much our kids are getting from you all. I was thinking about when they were baptized, when they, if you remember, I haven't been to a baptism here in a while for different reasons, but anyway, all the kids come up and they all promise, to be that child who's getting baptized friend. And I always cry when that happens. I don't know, that moment's just always gotten me from the beginning. All the nursery staff that's taking care of our kids, as they've grown here at the church, the godly play teachers, the congregational life committee that cooks them dinner every Wednesday night, the choir volunteers. Those experiences are so impactful to my kids, and they're forming relationships with all of you guys through those opportunities. And that's humbling for Annie and I, and that's why we're compelled to give and to grow in our path to, generosity and on our giving path. So look forward to talking more about this with y'all. You'll hear from more of our committee members, one of our external mission partners over the next few weeks. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions. But thank y'all for considering and staying on this journey with us.